25th Hour Radio Show.
Hello?
Hey, Chris, how you doing? This is Rob Fairless from the 25th Hour Radio Show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
When did you first get into boxing, and what made you choose that over other sports?
Being in a boxing household, being the youngest of 8 kids, 5 boys, 3 girls, 5 boys that boxed. My father was a boxer, so, it quite naturally I was going to be a boxer. I mean, it came up under my brothers.
So you was actually in his your father's boxing academy, wasn't you?
Oh, yeah. My father had a gym since before I was born. So I boxed under just the rest of the guys, under my father, being the trainer. And, that's how I started.
Do you remember your first fight? And I got to ask you this, was the champ ever nervous?
No, it's funny. I first fight, I had a lot of exhibitions from a time I started when I was 5 to 10, because you couldn't actually have a boxing match until you were 10 years old. But I had a lot of exhibitions, so I was already ready, I would say, for my first, junior match, because, I boxed and sparred so much and being in the gym so much. I mean, this was like a part of my life, from the time I was 5 years old. Always at the gym, always in the ring, always sparring with my brother Patrick, who was closest in age to me. He's a year and a half older. And we always was in the ring, or any other small kids come, I would be in the ring. So I was never nervous.
Does being nervous hurt or help a fighter? I mean, can you be a little bit on edge and still be effective in the ring?
I personally, for my sake, as I got, older, and especially taking the heavyweights and climbing up, the ranks and getting used to the heavyweights, see how big these guys are, getting a little nervous, it really helped. And then I stopped being nervous, and I hated it, because I wanted to be nervous because it made me perform better. Then it just stopped. I mean, I'm just used to it. I'm like, okay, because I got like a carefree attitude. It's like whatever, I put in the work. I just like having fun. It's just my personality.
Yeah.
Having fun, and then I was just so laid back to where, I wasn't nervous anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you can see, like, a lot of times, even in championship fights, I come out, I'm smiling at the crowd, winking at people. It's like whatever. And see, I wish I was nervous.
At what point did you realize, hey, man, I'm pretty good at this. I think I could seriously do some damage in this sport, make a run for the title.
On a professional level or amateur level, as far as, just taking it 100% serious, about the sport. Because on the amateur level, just in boxing as a whole, it was when I was 17. On a professional level, from the time I turned pro, I wanted it that bad. I trained like a freak. I studied boxing like a master, just a genius. I mean, I just studied so much boxing, and I wasn't just watching boxing. I was studying. I still do it to this day. I figure out styles. I just like a style matchup. I love different styles because styles. When they say make fights, of course, but the thing is, you got to figure out a style. I mean, somebody may look easy on video when you watching before a fight, but you get in the ring, you're like, man, he hit harder than I thought. He's faster than I thought. He do things, just different than what he did than what I thought I'd seen on tape. So, for me, that was the main thing.
What was your normal training schedule and routine like?
Oh man, I would, professional for training. I would run. I love running, but I would do sprint work 3 times a week. a sprint work in the morning, 3 times a week, weightlifting every day, different body parts, and then heavy training. I mean, I go to the gym, and my sparring partners can verify, or guys I spar with, I would say. I hate calling them like sparring partners, but guys I brought in, they can verify everything. I mean, because they wanted to train with me. And then they learn a champion's mind on being on that level of training. I still train like a little guy, like a middleweight when I was fighting a heavyweight. So, you know, I have personally thought, I thought no heavyweight train harder than me. You know, and that's how I always push myself. Imagine the guy I'm fighting, he's training hard for me. I got to train harder. You know, I gotta sacrifice more in sparring. I got to go rounds. You know, I never started off my camp sparring for like 4 rounds. I always sparred 6 rounds. And then I go to 12 real fast.
Mm.
I mean real fast, because my training camps literally were 4 weeks. And then the 5th week would be the site of the fight. So I was already in shape. I mean, I wanted to get there. I wanted to, and sometimes I think I overdid it. I was so anxious to fight, and I love training. And my body wouldn't take a lot. It took too much in, and I put too much out. So it was a lot of times I would dehydrate out. I had major problems. I would get IVs in my room before the fight because I was already drained out.
Push.
Yeah. Sometimes you push too much.
Oh yeah, man. What was one of the most difficult things you ever encountered during your training?
Oh man, it's my body. The most difficult thing about my training, and what people really don't know from probably my 15th fight on, I fell out almost after every fight. Nobody.
You mean like from exhaustion?
No, I'm highly allergic to wheat. I'm like one of the worst. And so I didn't know it. I would have wheat, wheat is in almost everything. And I fought Jimmy Thunder on HBO, and it's on record. I mean, it was on air that I fell out after I fought Jimmy Thunder. So they wanted to do an on-air interview with me. I fell out. I didn't even know what was wrong. They rushed me to the hospital. I fell out of the locker room. But I had did that with almost all my fights up until David Tua.
And you didn't know you didn't know at the time that you was allergic to that?
No, I mean, I not only allergic, highly allergic. I didn't know what was wrong. I thought I was dehydrated because I go to the hospital afterwards. They put IV bags of ice. They give me IV and thinking I'm dehydrated. And then I went to a homeopathic doctor, and when I moved to Vegas, and then they told me, you highly allergic to wheat. They put a vial of wheat in front of me and had me close my eyes, take my shoes and socks off. I almost fell out.
Wow.
I was like, my wife went crazy. She was like, she thought I was going to a voodoo doctor, and he started laughing. He's like, man, you are very sensitive. And I was sensitive to sugar and dairy products also. But wheat was really bad. I mean, it's chart for me. I mean, it was literally weakening me that bad. And I was always wondering, I mean, I would get tired. I didn't look like it. It's my will to win. But most of my fights, I'm dead tired. I'm like, man, what's wrong? And then I'll fall out of the locker room. And nobody know. I mean, I would be out, and sometimes I come back and I'm wobbling all over the place. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I'm all right. I just need liquids in me.
So you kind of need to stay away from the bread aisle in the supermarkets.
Oh, when I go to, like, we have Costco here, it's like a Sam's Club, some places. I get headaches when I go to the bread aisle. And I always wonder why I feel like I'm sick. I want to throw up, and I get dizzy when I go to anything with wheat, like an abundance of wheat. So, man, it was hard because when I was training, I would dip under 200 pounds all the time. I couldn't have pasta. I can't have anything with wheat, any bread, because that stuff kept weight up. none of that. So it was hard.
So you pretty much, because of that, man, you had to change your diet all up.
I mean, it was my training camps were. I mean, I hated it because at that time, all this gluten-free stuff wasn't out. This stuff just started really coming about now, and I would have, you know, I had to get a chef to prepare certain foods, so you know, it was just boring because they didn't know how to prepare certain stuff. I'm eating the same thing over and over, like shish kebab, for instance. I won't eat that to this day because I ate so much of it when I was a kid. So I was like, I won't eat it. I mean, it was just, you know, part of something. I ate a lot of meat. I could eat the meat, no wheat in it. But anything else, I had to be really careful because it weakened my body so bad. And as I got older, it got worse. So, you know, and that's one thing I wish I didn't have. I would have been 120% every single fight. I mean, I burnt out bad. And my body was horrible. But, you know, God's still blessed. I mean, I can't really complain. You know, I shouldn't be complaining. I still won, you know, titles and accomplished things that I thought I never could in boxing. So it was a blessing.
Well, I learned something today. You know, Chris Byrd's kryptonite is wheat.
Oh yeah, it is, and a lot of people should get checked out for, you know, it's called food allergy that, you know, weakens the body. So if you walk around tired and you don't know why and you drained all the time, get checked out.
Well, Chris, how did you earn the nickname Rapid Fire?
My wife hated it, you know, and I rarely she hated it, and I rarely use it. It's from the movie Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know that movie, and I'm like, oh, that's me. My hands is like rapid fire. I'm gonna put hands on these guys, and it's gonna come out like fire. And you know, I was gonna, you know, lightning on canvas because one of the reporters said I was lightning on canvas. So that was going to be one of them, but my wife didn't like that either. So,
did your wife have any nicknames for you?
No, actually, she didn't. She didn't want me. She didn't. One yesterday, I did an interview with this guy, and he called me the little engine that good. So I was like, I had to ask my wife, "You like that one? Like a little engine that good?" She was like, "Not too much of like a little kid."
Hey, Chris, you know, is it true that throughout your career, in your corner, it consisted entirely of your, you know, your own family members?
Oh yeah, my early on it was my father, my mother, and I had, well, it wasn't even, my mother and my two brothers, and then later it was just my father, my mother, and my brother.
You know, there has to
always.
There has to be a special feeling of pride there to have family members right there with you, you know, the whole way throughout your career.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're honest. They ain't gonna tell me, you know, they're not gonna tell me what I want to hear, you know, in training or even during the fight. They're gonna tell me what I need to know and what I need to do. They being real and honest with me, you know. So it was, you know, they support me big time, and they know me. They know how hard I train, and they knew my goals. It's just like my wife right there at ringside yelling. I express everything, you know. Before the fight and during training, you know, what I want out of my career and what I want out of these certain fights. So they help push me to another level, you know, and that kind of support, you know, is invaluable. It makes you want to reach, you know, the goals you set for yourself.
You know, when you beat Klitschko in 2000 and you got back to your hotel room or on the plane, whatever, that night, you know, what was your thoughts? You know, you earned the title of, you know, world heavyweight champion, the most prestigious title, you know, in all of sports.
Yeah.
What was running through your head? Any reflections on that?
Yeah, oh, big time. See, my professional career, a lot of people don't know, I didn't have a promoter coming out of the Olympics. You know, I didn't sign with a promoter right away, and because a lot of promoters didn't want to take a chance with me. You know, I won a silver medal in the Olympics, but I'm hearing everybody saying I wasn't pro material. So I had 2 sales fights. I didn't get paid my first 2 pro fights. And then I I go with a local guy that owned a laminating business, and he started putting on fights for me in a nightclub. So I'm fighting in a night. I got a nightclub act. So when I wanted to fight with Klitschko, when it was over, the first thing I thought about is the nightclub. I was like, wow. Starting off with nothing. Nothing. Had no money. Married, brand new baby. Nothing. And the Lord blessed me to be in this fight at this time to get a victory and be champion. So I knew that, you know, all the hard work and sacrifice, you got to believe in yourself and you got to want it. And that's that's the one thing I thought about, where I came from. It was hardship starting off, but it was well worth it. And that wasn't the end. That was just, you know, midway through my career, and just being in the ring with that big guy and going round after round and not getting hurt from this humongous guy and hanging in there on his home turf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So blessed enough.
You get the same kind of feeling? Did you get the same kind of feeling when you beat Holyfield?
Oh no, that was a lot more special because it's the Vander Holyfield. You know, I'm a boxing. I love boxing. I love boxers, and I follow many guys. You know, Tyson. I'm a huge Tyson fan. That, you know, when I was 11 years old, he was 15 years old, in the same. You know, he was out at a tournament. He was fighting. So, you know, I'm a boxing fan, and being in a ring with a Vander Holyfield. I mean, think about, you know, a young boxer being in the ring with the guy you look up to.
Yeah.
You can fight him. You know, I was in awe. But, you know, it was my time. At that time, it was my time. And I had to do what I had to do to win, and I won the fight, but it was a blessing to fight him. And really, I wanted to fight Lennox Lewis more than anything on this planet. That was it. When I was number one, when I became number one contender after David Tua, I like this is I'm living my dream. I'm getting ready to fight the best heavyweight in the world. This is what I want, and I'm fully prepared for it. Mentally and physically. At that moment, I'm like, I don't feel not a heavyweight on this planet can beat me right now. After I fought David Tua, so I was going into the Lennox Lewis fight. I was like, let's do it. I can't wait. I take short money to get a chance to fight Lennox Lewis. I would take short money. I didn't care. I wanted that fight that bad. So, you know, ask your question with Vander. It was great. I mean, it was just a great opportunity.
You know, I want to talk about your YouTube show you got going on right now, the Bird's Eye View. What stirred your interest in starting that show?
Always wanted to talk to boxers about their journey, about how they get to where they got to. Because I know how the struggles I had starting off. You know, having a great time in amateur with a bunch of guys traveling the world and ending with the Olympics. But then I turned pro, where it's a shaky business. I mean, it's shady and it's just, you know, it's corrupt. But we love the boxing. I just wanted to know about their journey. So I get to sit down, talk to these guys, talk to them about their journey, talk to them about, you know, just everything, their thought about boxing and the hardest they didn't hit, or, you know, the toughest they fought. So I always had that in mind, even when I was boxing. I always thought, man, I wonder if somebody else going through the same thing I'm going through, the same kind of stuff. So that was the thought behind it, and I wanted to start that and get it out there for the fans, you know, big time, just for the fans to hear some of their favorite fighters, you know, not just throughout the era now, but just throughout history. I'm looking for all kind of guys that, you know, especially guys that, you know, I talk to a lot of guys, but guys that reach high levels in the sport, because you go through so much in this sport to try to get there, because it's such a, you know, hurt and pain sport. And then you got to deal with the business side. You got to worry about that, and you worry about your opponent, you know, and then training and then pleasing and just all this stuff. So, you know, that was the thought behind it.
You know, what I love most about watching it is the informality of it all. You know, you're really getting to see these fighters as themselves, you know, laid back, joking around, you know, but serious at the same time, and getting to know them on a more, you know, on a more personal level. And I guess that was your intentions all along.
Yeah, and also, I mean, because you know a guy, most of the time with boxers, they talk to him when it's fight time or around fight time or you're promoting a fight. That's not the real person. You know, some guys on edge, you know, they're ready to fight, and they really not like that when there's nothing involved. Nobody has anything to gain. We just in a setting where we just gonna talk and relax, and you are another fighter. You know, I've been there, so you don't have to put on no act for me, because I look at you like, come on, man, you know, you for real, you did that. You know, it's different. So sitting down talking to guys and just in a relaxed setting, you really get to know their heart, and I love it. I mean, personally, it's just a joyful.
You know, you also do a tremendous amount of motivational and faith-based speaking. You know, it must be so rewarding to speak to those who need to hear what you bring to the table, you know, and possibly change or even save someone's life, man, through your testimony. But, you know, besides being a boxer, is that something you feel you were made to do?
Yeah, I think, you know, personally, God just called me to do it. After I was done, you know, boxing, I spoke in the FDA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athlete event. And somebody came and approached me and said, hey, you know, we're going to represent you in speaking. So, and then I'm speaking, you know, in churches and youth groups, and then I start speaking corporately. Also, I do that also. So it's been a blessing. I love getting up, you know, sharing my story and sharing, you know, what Christ did for me at a time in my career between the amateur and really before I turned professional, that I gave my life and my heart to Jesus Christ. So, and I'm not ashamed of it. You know, that's just me. You know, that's just me. I'm not ashamed of it, and I get to share it. So it's been a blessing. I mean, my career in itself, people that knew me from amateur knew how skinny I was. I was this lanky Olympian that was, you know, a non-puncher, and to be fighting at heavyweight, and I was fighting at middleweight, and to be fighting at heavyweight, a small heavyweight, you know, I was really, you know, thick around the middle when I first started, because I just ate my way there, and then I started settling in, and it's still, like, amazing, because no way, I don't care, you know, really how much talent you have, how can you compete against this one-punch factor every time you get in the ring? And it was just a God thing. So I was really blessed to, like I said, to win championships, to fight these big guys on a consistent basis, and still come out and talking to you later after my career, you know, in an interview, and still sound, you know, pretty good. So I've been blessed. I can't complain.
Well, Chris, do you mind letting everyone listening know where they can go to as far as, you know, website, social media, to get the scoop and what you're up to and how to listen and watch the Bird's Eye View?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my website, Chris Byrd, that's ChrisByrd.com, and check out the Bird's Eye View, or YouTube. Social media is great. You know, you can go there, the Bird's Eye View, and check it out there, and follow me on Twitter. You know, it's under Chris Byrd or Slipmaster92. You know, follow me on there, hit me on Facebook, anywhere. You know, you'll see it. And I'm trying to get it out there. And, you know, it's for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
For the fans to bring these boxers and see them in a different light and be real. And you see us joking and laughing, because a lot of them I know. A lot of guys I grew up with, or maybe I don't. Some of them I don't know, but we still have this boxing in common, and certain things we go through are the same. So it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, it's a great show. Everybody, check it out. It's great.
Yeah, thank you,
Chris. Man, thank you so much for being on our show. You know, it's most definitely been an honor, and I'm really proud to have been able to interview you. You know, you've made a moment. You made a moment right here for me and Randy, and that we'll never forget. And, you know, thank you very much for that, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate you having me on your show and allowing this interview to, you know, to go off. I'm always appreciative of things like that, so thank you.
Well, Chris, thank you very much once again, and it was an honor talking to you, and good luck with your career, and good luck with Bird's Eye View. I'll be checking it out every week, every Thursday, right?
Hey, leave comments so I can answer back, and, you know, everybody subscribe to it. You know, that'll be a blessing. You guys subscribe, and thanks a lot for your time again.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.